Hello, my name is Courtney Rust, and I'm a financial aid counselor here at SUNY Canton. Today I'm here to walk you through a tutorial on how to complete your Parent Plus loan application. So to begin, you go to the website studentaid.gov, which you can see up here. Then you will need to go to log in and log in with your parent FSA ID. So this is specific to you with your social name and date of birth. Once you're logged in, you're going to see these four options listed, but in an up and down order. You want to click on that you are the parent. Then you're going to click on Apply for a Parent Plus loan. And then you will see a blue Start button because you'll be logged in, and you'll just click that to begin. Today we will go over the demo. So this is what you're going to see when you begin the application. The parent loan application has to be completed for every academic year. So you have to do it more than once. So to start, you want to select the award year that you're applying for. For example, the upcoming year is 2020 to 2021. So that is what you would select there. Then you need to select the student that you're applying for the parent loan for. Your FSA ID should know which students you have that are in college, and they'll be listed here, and you can select the one you're applying for. You have to do a separate one for each student if you have more than one in college. Here it will fill in the student's information from your list, and you just want to make sure that their name, social, birthday, and address are all correct, and also their phone number. So now they're going to ask you a few questions about your application that are important to answer. So they're asking you here, would you like to request a deferment while your student is enrolled in school? Even if you plan on making your payments, you should still request that you'd like them deferred. So if something comes up that's out of your control, you're not going to be penalized for missing a month or two of payments. They'll also ask you if you'd like a 6-month post-enrollment deferment, which is basically a grace period. You wouldn't have to be required to make payments until 6 months after the student graduates or drops below half-time status. We also suggest that you use the grace period for the same reason, just to make sure if something comes up that you can't control, you're covered there and you're not going to be penalized. So here you can choose to authorize or not authorize the school to use your PLUS loans for other things besides tuition fees, room and board. So this could include things like lab fees, RU Express, which is the students' money to use on campus for books and things like that, parking fines. So you can choose that your parent loan funds can pay for that, or you can leave it unchecked and choose not to. Another important question they ask is if you have a credit balance or refund from your parent loan, do you want that refund to be given to you or to your student? So you do have to select who you would like it to go to. Then you have to select the school. You go by a state and then search their name, and then you'll click add over here once they're added. Then you have to select why you're completing this application. Is this your new one for a new year? Or are you trying to change a current year amount? Then you can go down and select the loan amount you'd like to request. You have the option to borrow the maximum Direct Plus loan, which would be the amount that was listed in the original award package. Or you can specify a specific amount if you'd like to borrow less than that. And you type it in here. Make sure you do the amount for the year if you're applying for a whole academic year, but if it's just one semester, just make sure you put in the one semester amount. Or you can say, I don't know the amount right now, and you'll work on that with the school. So here's where you indicate your loan period. So it'll have the year that you selected to begin with. And then if you want a full year loan, you need to do August 2020 in this case to May 2021. Or if you're just doing a fall only loan, it would be August 2020 to December 2020, or vice versa for just the spring. So now we're moving on to your borrow information. Here they will list your status on the National Student Loan Database in regards to your default status. If you're defaulted on your own student loans, you're not able to borrow a Parent Plus loan. It'll tell you that here. Then you have to select your citizenship status. Are you a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident? If you're neither of those or an other eligible non-citizen, you're not able to borrow a PLUS loan either. So here you want to make sure your permanent address is showing correctly. It should already be filled in for you. And then check off that this is my current permanent address. If your mailing address is different, you can take the opportunity here to hit yes and then fill in your mailing address and check off that it's current. If it's the same as your permanent address, just hit no. If you have a foreign address, it will ask you if you'd like to provide an address in the States. So here you can hit yes and fill that in. Then you want to make sure you have your most accurate email and phone numbers here that they could reach you at if needed. And then down here, you're going to add your employer's information. They're going to need to know your organization's name, the address, phone number, and if you're not employed, you can just check off that box to gray this out and skip it. Alright, so now you're just going to review all of the information you submitted, and you can make changes here if you need to. So there's the edit button here in any section. So review and make sure you have the correct award year, the correct student, that's important. Make sure your address is looking good. The questions that they asked you about deferment and grace periods, make sure you've answered those the way you wanted to. If you're authorizing the school to use the loan funds and the refunds, make sure you have that answered correctly. The school and the amounts that you want. So make sure that is all correct and make any changes here if you need to. This is your borrower information again. Make sure your address is looking good, your contact info, your employer. All right, and now we're going to hit continue. And this is where you have to do some consenting to the application. So to start, you open the important notices to look at basically what it means that a credit check is going to be run on your account. All right. And then here you have to certify that the information you provided throughout the application is correct and that you've read and understood that important notice. And then you also have to consent to the Department of Education to run a credit check. So if you're willing to do both of those things, you can continue on with the application. And then here's where you're going to get your credit check results. So there's 3 different results you could get. You're going to know right away when you hit that continue button what they've decided on your credit check. So if you've been accepted, it'll say right here, congratulations, you've successfully submitted a Direct Plus loan request and your credit has been approved. So the loan file will take 24 to 48 hours to get to the school or 1 to 2 business days, but it'll come through with the approved status. And then you can click right on here to complete your master promissory note if you've never borrowed a parent loan before for the student. So you only have to do the MPN once. So you can go on and do that if you need to, and we will have a tutorial on that parent MPN as well if you need help with that. But if you're doing a loan for a student you've already done previously, you don't need to do a new MPN. Alright, so if your status was declined, you're going to see based on the history returned by the credit agency or we are unable to approve your credit. So there's still options to borrow a Direct Plus loan. You can still look at an endorser, which is basically like a cosigner, or you can document extenuating circumstances to appeal. It'll ask you what you want to do. Do you want to obtain an endorser? Do you want to appeal? Or do you not want to pursue it at all? If you decide not to pursue the Direct Plus loan at this time, your student may be eligible for additional unsubsidized student loan funding. Or you can check off that you're undecided. Once you've checked an option, you'll hit continue and it'll link you to your more information about what you chose. And then if you receive a pending status, you will need to reach out to the Department of Ed because that means they have an issue with some of the personal information you provided. So you either need to call them or email them to resolve this to be able to get your credit decision. All right, well, thank you for watching. And now you know how to apply for a direct